opposed? Item carries.
Candidate purchasing and tabulation of bids category, item 9 has been removed for separate consideration. Is there a motion on the balance?
Move. Second.
Moved and voted on the balance, favoring, opposed, items carried.
Candidate ordinance category, items 11 through 20, 24 through 28, and 33 have been removed for separate consideration. And it's the ordinances, just need a vote.
Moved to a vote, favoring, opposed, items carried.
Okay, items removed for separate, oh wait a minute, this is for the consent. No, this is good. Okay, items removed for separate consideration. Item 9, is there a motion?
Move. Second.
Discussion. Favoring, opposed, item carries.
Item 11 is an ordinance.
Discussion, Councilmember Cohen.
Yes, I'd like to tag this item, please.
Item has been tagged
Tag.
by Councilmembers Cohen and Burke. And Brown.
Tag.
Green.
Tag.
And Adam.
Item 12 is an ordinance.
Discussion. Favoring, opposed,
No.
item carries. Councilmember Brown voting no.
Item 13 is an ordinance.
Discussion. Councilmember Christie.
13, we're authorizing accepting from the federal government $3.1 million for just a year. Let me just, for your edification, on a fear factor that's been put into the flu season here. Every national news, every local news, every front page, it's the fear factor of the flu. There's 4 strains out there. The drug companies have one vaccination. It won't do all 4 flus. They say that you will die if you don't get it. Fear alone will make you sick. So let's take this in perspective. I'm going to vote against this just because of the approach we're taking on that. You don't die from the flu. If you take the 20 cases that are out there, what treatment was given to those 20 cases in the hospital? 37,000 people a year die from prescription drug misuse. 37,000. So in over-medicated society, we're adding another toxin into the body. If they accept, it's only 62% effective. That's the drug company saying that. There are numerous cases where they get the flu from the vaccine. Well, it's a dead virus. A virus is 1/100th of the size of a bacteria. Antibiotics, Tamiflu, nothing can touch the hard core of a virus cover. So there's really no drug or vaccine that can kill the flu virus. I guarantee you, if you look at the marketing department of Tamiflu and the vaccine makers, and remember, you as a taxpayer cannot sue for vaccine abuse. It goes to a vaccine court supported by taxpayers' money. One example, swine flu #1. The Ford administration, it's the biggest fiasco. 27 people killed by the vaccine. $1 billion in lawsuits. The disease never came. Swine flu 2, It was less than the seasonal flu. Nobody died. They had a vaccine then, side effects to that, lawsuit, and here we are in fear factor number 3, saying that you're going to die from the flu, and it's on everybody's TV. Just take this thing a little less serious, because, you know, the drug companies run this show, and it's about profit, not your health. Prevention. You take this $3 million and give these kids in schools fruit and vegetables. You put PE back into the system. You give them rest periods. That's the best way to prevent sickness, I guarantee. So just be cautious. I know it'll pass and everything, but things that I said in boot camp in Fort Polk, Louisiana, said stop the smallpox vaccination. They did 10 years later after I offered that suggestion. 15 people a year are killed from that vaccination. So 150 people died before they stopped that vaccination. Just keep in mind that if you keep the human body healthy, eat right, exercise, fix things without a bunch of pills, you're going to be healthy. Flu is a natural thing that we'll all catch when we lower our resistance. So building the resistance with $3 million would be a lot better than an experimental vaccine.
Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm actually thinking about voting in support of this, but naturally I have concerns as well, and I appreciate your wealth of knowledge there. And I perhaps want to share some of my time with you to get a response, but do you think that perhaps these immunizations prevent further abuse of the hospitalization hospital industry and the use of facilities there and further costs to taxpayers in that regard?
May I respond? Okay.
You may.
You don't need to be in the hospital for the flu. But they have on TV on the national news just lined up in tents put out there. You know, 102-degree fever doesn't kill you. Rapid heartbeat doesn't kill you. It's the body's fighting this off. You develop a natural immunity by being exposed to the disease.
And it just gets back to education and the like, and unfortunately people are using the hospital system and taxpayer-funded stays and the like, and perhaps this prevents a little bit, saves tax dollars in the long run by having them prevent from getting sick. I'm not in the medical industry, so I don't know. I know there's arguments out there that many of these immunizations actually cause further problems, side effects with aluminum content and the like. There's even a lot of research out there, and I don't know the validity to it, that potentially some of these immunizations cause an increase to mental illness and autism and the like. So, and I hate to be a contributor to that, but if in some way these immunizations and vaccinations actually keep people out of the hospital system and at the taxpayer's dime, perhaps we're saving a little bit of tax dollars in the long run. I certainly hope I'm not in any way, by voting yes, contributing to the further ailments of women and children in Houston.
Councilmember Adams.
Thank you so much. First of all, I just want to compliment the health department for always submitting those particular applications for grants to help protect the quality of life of our children. And if I ask my colleagues to raise their hand, how many of you received childhood immunizations for chicken pox or those other measles, I'm sure we all will raise our hands. So this particular item is just for childhood immunization shots for our kids. And so I just want to thank them. Just the application process. So anyone that does not support protection of our children moving forward, because all of us has received those shots. If it wasn't a booster, if it was something, so this what this particular item is. And so I just want to commend Director Williams and his team for even looking at grants that can bring money to the city of Houston to offset our costs for this type of immunization. So I'm asking my colleagues to please support this item, because this item is just about childhood immunization for those preventative shots for our kids and our youth. So that's what this item is about. So thank you.
Councilmember Adams, I don't recall that they had a chickenpox vaccination when I was a child. I actually had to get it the old-fashioned way. But you are this is a requirement for kids to go to school to have these vaccinations, so absent this, it may have an impact on children being ready to start school on time. Councilmember Burks.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say, I appreciate my colleague to my right for what he said, because it makes a lot of sense. But just in reality, here in Houston, Texas, our weather last night went down into the 30s, and it's supposed to go up to the 40s. Tomorrow it may go up to the 50s or the 60s. Our weather changes like you would flip a coin. And for children to not have the correct, let's say, immunization or the eating correctly, everyone starts to sniffle and everyone starts to sneeze and everyone's throat begins to start hurting, and so therefore if you're weak, then you might just catch the flu. The thing is that we have to look at our climate where we are. And our climate is not like it is in the north or the east, where it remains one season all the time, just about. I have my huge coat on back here behind me. This is the second time I didn't put it on last year at all. So what am I saying? I'm saying that our temperature and our weather here is totally different from other climates in the nation. And I applaud us for getting this money to immunize these children for the flu. If 62% can be saved, that's better than having it reversed and 62% died. So I'm looking forward for that. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Christie.
Esteemed colleague to my left, the research shows temperature doesn't affect the resistance of the body to disease. And you know, you don't gain popularity taking this stand. I just, in my heart, have to tell what I think is best for the future. The childhood immunizations you talk about, or Ms. Adams talked about, it used to be 3 immunizations. It is 33 required immunizations now. And we all didn't get it. And all of our children didn't all get the immunization. Actually, the baby boom generation is refusing it. And I'm not saying all immunizations are bad. I'm not saying all drugs are bad. I'm just saying be cautious. There's a caveat with every chemical put into the body. And there's side effects to every one. Somebody on TV this morning said if you're allergic to any chicken feathers, chicken feet, chicken whatever, it's in the petri dish where they developed the vaccine. They used to say, well, the mercury doesn't hurt you. Mercury will fry brains in young children. Oh, we don't use that anymore, but they used up the entire stockpile of vaccinations with mercury to where they would save money there. I think there's some preservatives still in the vaccines that will fry neurons in the brain. So I'm saying this, you know, it's not going to make me popular, but it's what's best for your kids. When I left the State Board of Education, I said, quit spraying these campuses with chemicals that kill living cells in plants, roaches, rats, because it kills living cells in children that are the most vulnerable. Ross Perot wondered about the Gulf War syndrome. Unknown disease, they couldn't find the cause. His independent study away from drug companies and the medical establishment, it said it was the experimental vaccine against nerve agents in the Gulf War that caused 40,000 soldiers to have strange, lifelong symptoms, and experimental vaccines. So, you know, I just don't think we need the federal money